Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum for candidates for Northshore School District Director, District 3. I'm Karen Crowley, incoming president of the League. This forum is being live streamed to our League YouTube channel. To those in the virtual space, thank you for joining us. We refer to these primary forums as virtual doorbelling. We ask a short series of questions, the kind of questions you might ask if a candidate came to your door. Questions are designed to give you a clear idea of each candidate's experience and the issues they believe are important to address. A recording of this forum will be available on the same YouTube channel for later viewing. So let me provide some background on the position. School district directors set policies on curriculum, such as books, dress code, disciplinary actions. They hire superintendents. They set district budgets. They work with teachers, with administrators, with parents, and community members to support all aspects of K-12 education. The candidates for Northshore School District Director, District 3 are Cazares, Myriam Juritz, and Tran. The League thanks all the candidates for running for office, for their willingness to serve the community if elected, and for participating in this forum. Now, it's the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. We do take positions on issues which we've studied and on which we've reached consensus. Forum rules were sent ahead of time to all participants. They have agreed to engage in respectful communication throughout the forum. So let me briefly explain the question and answer period rules, and then we can begin. I will pose the questions, and I'll clearly state the amount of time allowed for each answer. We're using a countdown timer. It's visible to all candidates, and time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. I'll change the starting order for each question, alternating candidates in the starting position so that we have a fair sequence. Now, the order for the first question will be Cazares, then Tran, and then Myriam Juritz. So let's begin. Candidates, you have 2 minutes to respond to the first question. As I said, we will start with Mr. Cazares, and the question is this. What are the major issues that you feel need to be addressed by this office? And please explain why you were focusing on these issues. Mr. Cazares, please come off mute. I often have to remind folks to do that. There you go. Now, that's okay, Mr. Cazares.
Well, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the fellow candidate school directors. The issues that I think are the things of consequence: school funding, special education, and primarily, I think the last piece is when we look at what we can accomplish. We're looking at parents, we're looking at teachers, we're looking at the students, and what are the things, and I mean time value, that we can get across. So there's only so much time in the classroom. There's only so much funding in the classroom. That the funding and the education needs for special education is a priority. I think that particular area is going to take special direction from this board, whomever it is, and the superintendent. I think secondarily, and another issue, is the communication with parents. The communication that goes out to parents when issues arise. So what I've observed in the last 30 days, I think since we all became candidates, is that parents want more information and they want clear communication. I think there were at least two very serious situations where parents were left in lurch, wondering what was happening. And on that point, the transition is we have to take the safety of our students, so security. The student resource officer is another primary concern, not just for a high school, but for all high schools and students. So the safety of our students, the funding for our educators, and the time in the classroom, I think all of those things are something for us to consider as we set policy and vision. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, same question for Ms. Tran.
Thank you so much. I echo what Chris is saying, and also thank you for everyone else who is of both of you are running as well. It shows that we have a lot of people in the community that care. So on top of everything that also Chris said, funding, that is something that is near and dear to my heart. As being a human rights commissioner, I have the ability to have at the legislative level to connect with our legislators and speak about funding at the state level, and then hopefully get them to help us at the federal level, because there's only so much we can do in terms of funding within the school district ourselves. We can be very creative with our bonds and levies, but we also need to make sure that we hold our legislators accountable and help them get what we need. On top of funding, ensuring equity and inclusion within our schools is crucial. Every student should have equal access to quality education and opportunities, regardless of their background or circumstances. By prioritizing equity, we can create a more inclusive and supportive learning environment that meets the diverse needs of our students. Also, focusing on student achievement is essential to provide every student with the tools and the resources, Chris kind of mentioned this, that they need to succeed academically. By implementing evidence-based instructional strategies, supporting professional development for our educators, and providing targeted interventions for struggling students, we can improve overall student achievement and close the achievement gap. The next thing that I would love to focus on is actually kind of tragic. According to the Trevor Project, 45% of our LGBTQ youth seriously consider attempting suicide in the past year. This makes mental health and well-being of our students and educators paramount, and we need to prioritize that as well. Communication as well, I absolutely agree with Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ms. Juritz, same question for you.
Firstly, I want to really thank the League of Voters Women to let us join and express our opinions. And I really want to echo what my fellow candidates said before. Being the third one, left with less options to communication and transparency, I think, are key issues that our district needs to focus on. I think that academics should be an opportunity for all our students, no matter the level. And I think that teachers in the classrooms have the opportunity to meet the students where they are in the academics, and that's a major issue that I think we should focus on. But also I want to talk about safety and wellness. I think that safety and wellness right now after COVID is very, very important. I've been very fortunate to be part of the Safety and Wellness Task Force that we started in the Northshore School District in November. And we actually finished the task force. The last meeting was yesterday, the presentation to the board today. And one of the issues that we talked about is how to support mental health for all our students and families actually in the community as well. And within the safety piece also, I want to talk about drugs. Let's make no mistakes. In our schools, drugs are being dealt and are being used. Some of our students are concerned in going to the bathrooms in high school because of the vaping that is occurring. I think that we have to join forces around the community, around our students, in try to have this epidemic that is drug use and try to have our students away from harm. I think it's really important that we focus on safety and wellness of all the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, candidates, you'll have 90 seconds for the next two questions. So timer, please adjust the clock to 90 seconds. This question will go first to Ms. Tran. And the question is this: what qualifications and experience make you a good choice to address the issues that you just raised? Ms. Tran, 90 seconds.
Thank you for the question. I am a North Shore mom of two young children and the outcome of the North Shore School District. I attended Inglemoor High. Leaving the community to experience the world, I gained a background in engineering, business, and a passion for innovation, allowing me to bring back fresh perspectives to address educational challenges and ensure student success through the use of evidence-based methods. Moreover, my appointment by the governor's office as Washington Human Rights Commissioner commissioner showcases my commitment to promoting inclusivity and advocating for anti-discrimination policies. This experience allows me to engage with diverse communities, understand their needs, and work towards equitable solutions with the community. Additionally, by being selected to contribute to the Northshore Ethnic Studies Development Program, where my identity as a Vietnamese refugee contributed to the framework of student identity and empowerment, demonstrates my dedication to fostering inclusive and empowering educational environments. Overall, my qualifications and experience in problem solving, community engagement, and promoting human rights position me as a strong candidate capable of making a meaningful impact as a school board director.
Thank you. Ms. Juritz, same question.
Thank you. My qualifications, on a professional point of view, I have been the manager of different task forces, and in my engineering career, it made me be very analytical and very systematic in trying to solve problems, so I can bring that to the table. But specifically for this school district, the qualifications that I have has to do with the 10 years of volunteer work. I have volunteered at the school, have volunteered at the district level, I have volunteered at the community level. So for school, I have done a lot of work for PTAs and PTSAs, from our docent, from book clubs. I was part at the district level of ELA, English Language Arts Subcommittee, when we were talking about dyslexia curriculum. I was part of PAS, Parent Advisory for Student Success, where we were talking about ELL students. At the community level, I have been the district grants leader for the Northshore School Foundation, where we look at the needs of the district, and then we raise funds from the community and try to bridge the gap of the funds that we don't have to make reality what the teachers wish for the best of their students. So the volunteer work that I have done at so many different levels helps me help the district at the school board level. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Cazares, qualifications and experience.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I also appreciate everybody's answers so far. Qualifications and experience. For me, it comes down to service and representation. I spent my time growing up. I was in the public school for the majority of my time. I went to private school as well. I was a teacher. I was a high school football coach. And later in life, I became an attorney. So the perspective of representation and who my clients actually are is one role. And I think everybody here is a worthy candidate. And I love the diversity of each person. So it's very rare for a person to be all seasons. Who is the person we're looking for in this season? And what I have to offer is I have seen my clients, I have prosecuted individuals, I have sought legal recompense, but all of that really just means I've helped people get to where they need to go. I've seen their problems, and I am an effective communicator. When I see my clients in this role on school board director, that just means that I'm representing students, teachers, and parents. And the responsibility of making sure that their voices are heard, that they're seen, and there are clear outcomes that we can help them get to, that is the experience I bring. And it's been almost 20 years that I've been an attorney, and I've done a lot of trial work, and I've seen people go from different positions, whether it's to prison or otherwise, and it changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, our third question, this time we'll start with Ms. Juritz. The question is this: councils, commissions, and boards are required to deliberate and make decisions in public and to hear from those whose ideas may differ. Please give us an example that demonstrates your ability to work in this way. Ms. Juritz.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, my degree is a Doctor of Engineering. And as an engineer, I actually was in charge of a group representing the government of a foreign nation at this point, where they were being sued by a construction company. As you can imagine, in construction, there are different opinions and different parts that need to be put together to actually build something, right? In this lawsuit, it was public, it was a foreign nation, and the way I went about that was about assume positive intent. ask questions and seek to understand. I think that the best thing that we can do is to give grace so we can receive grace. And the best thing that we can do is assume that everybody is coming to the table. In this case, for our Northshore School District, with the best, for the students' best outcome. If we all come to the table in any forum, public or private, when students is first, then we will all succeed. So I believe that my previous experience in a very controversial situation brings me the opportunity to share with my district that we can do this when we trust the system, we trust the process, and we come with an open mind for honest and open communication. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Cazares.
Thank you. The experience that I have that has to deal with public processing of information, it may seem like a weird way to caveat, but my military experience, that is where I did the majority of what's called a court-martial or military trial. And what you see is, for me, it was the United States Air Force. It's a community, a group of people who are coming together to make a decision. So as you call witnesses, the jury is allowed to ask questions. And what that allows us to see is, how are we representing our service? How are we representing our community? But more importantly, are we addressing the concerns that they have? Are we listening and processing? For trial work, they say that at least for every hour that you spend in trial, there's 4 in preparation. So in other words, you had to have done all of your homework. And as you're listening to the concerns and you're making this presentation, what you're really doing is you're trying to act within the community itself. You're trying to get to the heart of the matter. And disagreements happen. People passionately care. I had the opportunity to watch the school board convene on the SRO issue. And educators, students, they were all very passionate about what they had to say. But the most important thing was the school directors were listening, they were hearing, and hopefully the next thing was acting. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Tran, same question for you.
Very similar answer in terms of active listening, finding common ground. That's all very crucial. And then that common goal and shared values can really help bridge that divide. And then, of course, sticking to making sure that everyone has the information they need so they can make the right decision. So a lot of times there are cases where people are making decisions on impartial information, right? And so making sure as a school board director, the role is to present that information to the community as well. Personally, in terms of councils, commissions, boards, deliberating in public and giving an example of being able to work this way, my background and my current job is as a product innovation manager. And when we talk about active listening, I am sitting out there with the people that I'm trying to help and understanding their pain points and understanding the root cause of the pain point. It's something that we're taught very young when you're trying to find root cause. It's certainly scientific, but it also comes naturally. Like my 7-year-old is always asking why. And I never want him to stop asking why, because that's how you actually get down to the root cause. And so this is how I love to work. I love to listen. I love to understand where people are coming from and help be that connector.
Thank you. Well, we said we were going to ask 4 short questions. We're at the 4th question. So please note, timer, that candidates will have 60 seconds for our final question. So please adjust the timer. And this one, we will start with Mr. Cazares. The question is this: please tell us something about your life experience that might surprise or intrigue voters. Mr. Cazares.
That's a great question. Well, I'm enrolled in school. I love school. I am seeking my master's degree in counseling. So I think therapy is an important part of everybody. So again, active listening seems to be themes here. But the second thing that I think is interesting is, again, when I was in the military, I served as defense counsel for a Guantanamo Bay inmate. And my dad and my brother are both Navy veterans. The case was USS Cold Bomber. And it was the hardest thing I had to tell my parents. But what it came down to in that difficult moment of saying, hey, I got called to do this job, my dad was very gracious and he said, son, you have orders, you need to follow them, despite him being a Navy person. But what I learned was you have to serve our community. Service isn't always easy. And I think that looking at the different perspectives can be very challenging.
Thank you for that. Ms. Tran, same question.
Certainly, I love this question too. So I was very humbled when a former social studies teacher at Inglemoor High, where I attended school, approached me to run for school board director. It felt like life was coming full circle in some sense, because when I reflect on my time at Inglemoor, I have fond memories of participating in this particular canned food drive to see Christina Aguilera, a pop singer, in Inglemoor's gym. And to my surprise, and I remember that, it just stands out in my memory quite a bit. And to my surprise, this same teacher was the one that actually organized it, which is why I feel like things are kind of coming full circle. These memories highlight the positive experience I've had in our school district that I want to ensure that every child, every student has, and even every educator has, right? To feel supported and have these joyous memories. So it's so important to work towards something like that. In addition, I'm also very honored to have received support and endorsement from the Washington Education Association.
Thank you. And finally, Ms. Juritz, surprise or intrigue us?
Well, you may know I'm not from this country. I have the opportunity to come here, but I'm originally from Argentina. When I was in elementary school in Argentina, we had a military coup, and we had a state of terrorism that we were actually very scared because bombs threats were put in our schools. School was canceled. You could not walk freely on the streets. So during my secondary years, democracy came back, and I started admiring systems like in the US, where we have freedoms. We have the liberty to express ourselves. And I came here seeking that. So I just want to share with everybody that I feel that we are extremely fortunate to live in a country with the freedoms that we do. And we should be able to share those freedoms with all around us.
Thank you. Thank you all. The League appreciates these candidates for joining us and for running for office. A recording of this forum and others will be available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website and our YouTube channel, and you can find links at lwvsnoho.org. We encourage you to explore additional information about these and about all candidates. The Snohomish County Voters Pamphlet will be mailed to residences starting July 12th. Primary election ballots will be mailed starting July 13th, and Election Day is August 1st. Please be a voter. Thank you to our League Candidate Forum team, and special thanks to Dave Moon and the Sultan School students at TurkPride.tv who made this live stream possible. And of course, thank you all for joining us. This concludes our Candidate Forum.